From a tiny spark of an idea in a lab to the pill that could literally save your life, the journey of a new drug is, without a doubt, one of the most complex and expensive quests in all of modern science. So let's break down how it all happens.
I mean, have you ever really stopped and looked at the medicine in your cabinet and wondered, what's the real story here? How did this get here? Because it's not just a simple manufacturing process. It's an epic tale of science, staggering risk, and incredible perseverance.
And when I say epic, I'm not kidding. We're not talking about something that happens overnight. This is a quest that takes, on average, more than a decade to complete. And the whole time you're battling against just astronomical odds of failure at every single step. And that brings us to the first really staggering number. The average price tag for that decade-long journey? $2.6 billion. And get this, that's the cost to bring just one new drug to market. That price actually includes the cost of all the other candidates that failed along the way. It's wild.
So, where does a multi-billion-dollar epic like this even begin? Well, it doesn't start with a big bang, but more like a tiny spark of an idea in a laboratory. This is the discovery phase.
To find that one successful drug, scientists start by screening thousands, and I mean thousands of potential compounds. We're talking about starting with a pool of around 10,000 candidates. It is the very definition of searching for a needle in a haystack.
And right away, we see the first massive cut. Of those 10,000 potential compounds, only about 250 show enough promise to even move on to preclinical testing. Most of them fail right here because they're either just not effective or they show early signs of being unsafe. That funnel we're talking about is already narrowing dramatically.
Now, if a compound makes it through those preclinical tests, it has to face its greatest challenge yet, what some people call the human gauntlet. This is the clinical trial phase where we finally find out if a drug is both safe and effective for people.
This whole process is broken down into three absolutely crucial phases. Phase 1 is all about safety, tested on a small group of healthy volunteers. If that goes okay, you move to Phase 2, which expands to actual patients to ask the big question, does this thing actually work? And finally, Phase 3 involves thousands of people to confirm its effectiveness on a huge scale and monitor for any and all side effects. You can see how each step is a much higher hurdle to clear.
So remember those 250 promising compounds? Of those, how many do you think actually make it to that first phase of human testing? Just 5. The attrition rate is just immense. I mean, think about it. We've gone from 10,000 candidates all the way down to just 5.
All right, so after surviving years of intense clinical trials, the few drug candidates that are still left standing have to face their final boss, the regulatory gatekeeper, like the FDA in the United States. This is Judgment Day.
This timeline really puts the entire marathon into perspective. You're looking at maybe 6 years just in the discovery and lab stage, another 7 years in clinical trials, and then you could be waiting up to 2 more years for the FDA review. We are well over a decade into this process by now.
You know, the regulator's job is incredibly difficult. They have to protect public health by making sure every new drug is safe and effective. But at the same time, they have to be really careful not to create so many hurdles that it just stifles the very innovation we need for future cures. It's a constant balancing act.
And here it is, the final number. After a decade of work, after billions of dollars spent, how many of our original 10,000 compounds get approved? Just 1. The odds are truly, truly staggering.
So once that single drug is finally approved, the story shifts from science to economics. How does a company possibly recoup a $2.6 billion gamble?
Well, the answer really lies in the patent. A patent gives the manufacturer an exclusive 20-year window to sell the drug without any competition. This exclusivity is specifically designed to give them a chance to earn back their enormous investment in research and development.
And this right here is what leads to the 2 types of drugs you see at the pharmacy. The brand name drug is the original one, protected by its patent, with a price tag that reflects all those R&D costs. But once that patent expires, other companies can make generic versions, which are biologically the same thing, but can be up to 85% cheaper. But the journey isn't over when the patent expires. Nope. In fact, for patients and for the healthcare system, a whole new chapter is just beginning. This is the next frontier.
So when a patent ends, competition from all those generic versions floods the market, and that causes prices to just plummet. This dramatically increases access for patients, which is fantastic. Meanwhile, the original company takes its profits and goes right back to the lab to start that incredible 10,000 to 1 journey all over again.
And this leaves us with the central challenge of this entire system. It's a trade-off. You see, high prices incentivize the billion-dollar risks needed for future cures, but we also need those cures to be affordable for everyone. So how do we balance rewarding all that innovation with ensuring access? That remains one of the greatest questions in modern healthcare.